What we do here is go back.
What's up, Hiroshi? Let's light this candle. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday. We are live here on twitch.tv/Arrow with a Name. If you're watching us there, give us a follow. And you're watching us live also on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. If you're watching us there, hit that like and subscribe button down below, guys. Support the channel. Thank you very much. Welcome to the show. If you follow us on our Discord, our new Discord server, Arrow Entertainment, I am live in the VC, the voice chat. If you guys want to hop on in, if you want to be part of the show, go ahead and click the link down below in the description section of both channels. Hop on over to our Discord, hop on in, and feel free to chat away, guys. Anyway, let's get into today's show, the first Friday of March. Yes, I have been on a brief hiatus here for the last week and a half. It's been pretty busy. It's been a pretty busy, hectic week going on. Had a lot of things going on, and I was unable to do live streams this week. You know, I had a very busy week. It is what it is. This morning, able to bring you guys a show. I'm also follow the Jeff Haggy Show on Discord. If you guys want to follow over there, Jeff Haggy Show. Hagrid, Hydro, the Hagster. There's a new one for you, the Hagster. He's going to be live later on today, you know, taking shots, drinking the whiskeys and everything, doing prank calls. So if you want to check him out over at twitch.tv/the Jeff Haggy Show, promoting him over here. So let's get into it. Now you're probably wondering the title of the stream and the thumbnail stream, which is Sally Field. Sally Field. Why did I pick a picture of Sally Field for the stream? That right there is a look of shame. That is a look of white shame. And I will get into that article here in a couple minutes. That is the definition of white shame. Now, right now, we got a problem in America where we have tons of people out there that are, you know, strongly looking at us as racist. We're racist. We're, you know, everybody's racist in this country. Yeah, we're all fucking racist. You know, they go back to, we're going back to the slave period, you know. So, excuse me. We're going back to the slave period, you know. People are talking about, oh, your ancestors were owned, you know, were slaves and stuff like that. That's everybody's argument today. And the strongest group of people that, you know, pose that argument is the left, the woke. The leftists, the woke, the LBGTs, and your woke mobs, and what the fuck are the SJWs and shit like that. The wannabe Black Lives Matter groups, you know, those are the ones that keep bringing up the wrong part of history. Now, there's nothing wrong with history. There's nothing wrong with learning about our ancestors. And I know a lot of people sit there and say, well, it's all in the past. Leave it in the past. Stop bringing it up. Stop bringing it up. And it's like, well, you got to learn about history to understand how we got here, how we come so far, you know, why there's so much racism and hate in this country. It's good to learn about that type of history. You know, there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things that have come out of that period. And I found a clip. I can't find it now. I seen it on Instagram the other day. And it was a clip of when Donald Trump was president. And he was talking about, you know, people's ancestors who were slaves and stuff. And he told people, he said, your ancestors who were the slaves, they built this country. They pretty much built this country. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Because you figure a lot of those slaves, a lot of those ancestors, they done a lot of hard work in this country. You know, they had some rotten owners. They had some rotten people who, quote unquote, owned them and bought them. But you got to figure, you know, the black culture, you know, black people have come a long, long way from that. You know, they've done a whole lot. They really have built a civilization in a way, you know, and that is one reason why people celebrate Black History Month. But then you have somebody as smart as Morgan Freeman who comes out and says, why should we have a Black History Month? Why can't every day be Black History? Why can't we celebrate Black History every day on a daily basis? You know what? Why can't we do that? You know, white people don't ask for a White People Month. The Jewish community, they don't ask for a month to celebrate, you know, the Jewish. You know, Hispanics, okay, Hispanics have Cinco de Mayo and another holiday, I think, or whatever it is. You know, it's like, yeah, we got special holidays, but why is it that Black history should be linked to just 1 month? Why should this just be 1 month? Why can't every day we learn something new? Like, why can't in April 2nd, why can't I sit here and read about and study and teach Frederick Douglass or Harriet Tubman? You know, let's do a topic on Harriet Tubman. Let's do a topic on Rosa Parks, you know? Why should it be, you know, we dedicate 1 month to black people? Why can't the whole year be dedicated to everybody equally? You know, why can't all 365 days of the year be dedicated to blacks, whites, Hispanics, Jewish, Christians, Catholics, whatever? Why can't it be like that? Why must it be limited, you know? So, the look of shame in that thumbnail of Sally Field. And I found this article the other day, and I posted it on my Facebook page. It's just a look of shame to me. And this article comes from the Daily Wire, and you might find this article elsewhere as well. Pathetic. Megyn Kelly slams Sally Field for apologizing for being white during a Lifetime Achievement Award acceptance speech. Now, I love the movie Smokey and the Bandit. You know, Burt Reynolds, classic Jackie Gleason, Sally Field's in it, Jerry Reed. You know, it's a classic. It's a timeless classic. The movie's over 40 years old. The movie is like 45 years old. You know, it's a timeless classic. I didn't watch a whole lot of movies growing up with Sally Field in it. I knew her in Smokey and the Bandit. I've seen Mrs. Doubtfire, which is I'm not too peculiar for Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, I like Robin Williams, don't get me wrong. I love his comedy. You know, Mrs. Doubtfire is just one of those movies that I just didn't really care for. growing up. Everybody calls it a timeless classic. I mean, to each their own, like look at Titanic. Not a lot of people like Titanic, but that's built something on itself. But Sally Field, during her Lifetime Achievement Award, Megyn Kelly slammed her after the actress apologized for being white during her acceptance speech at the for the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2023 Screen Actors Guild Award on Sunday. Yeah, this article came out on February 27th. If I could pull up the calendar here, if you let me. Okay, so yeah, this was wait a minute, what am I looking at? Oh yeah, all right, this came out this past Monday. So this past Sunday was the award show, the Screen Actors Guild Awards. During SiriusXM's The Megyn Kelly Show podcast, the host spoke with guests Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew Pinsky about what Field said at the SAG Awards, the SAG Awards. That's a good name for that. And asked why the star felt the need to say she was sorry for being a little white girl with privilege. Let me go on to say something about this white privilege bullshit. There is no such thing as white privilege. There is no such thing as black privilege. It's just some term that the idiot woke left, the fucking far left Democrats with no brain. This is something that they've come up with as an excuse. As an excuse to further racism in America. It's a fucking term that they came up with. Just like all these idiot Gen Zs out there, where the men want to be girls and the girls want to be men, just so they can swap bathrooms and try to rape each other and shit. That kind of thing. That's all that is. So, white privilege. There's no such thing. It's just some idiot being fucking racist. That is a form of racism. You want to call me white privilege because I have a good job, I live in a nice house, I have a nice, clean, tidy yard, I make good money. Okay. What about a lot of these hard-working black people that are out there busting their ass every single day doing the same shit that I do? That are raising a family of, well, there's a lot of black families that are more than two. There's some that, have one child, two child. There's some that have 10 kids. Some men, some women out there who have grown up having like 10 sisters and brothers, 15 siblings or whatever. But you know what? Their parents may do. Their parents may do, and they may do too. How many black people out there that actually go out there every morning, every afternoon, every evening, whatever shift they work? How many of them go out there and bust their ass to take the bus to work, to take a cab to work, take the Uber to work, to ride a bicycle to work, to walk to work 8, 10, 12, 16-hour shifts, come home to their families to eat a nice warm meal, nice warm dinner, at dinner time, spend time with the family. Spend time with the kids and wife. And you want to say that I'm white privileged because I'm doing just that? Do you expect somebody like me to be fucking poor and living out on the street, holding a sign every day? I mean, we see it all the time. I see it all the time in my area. The county I live in, I see a lot of homeless, supposed white homeless people out there holding signs, but a lot of them are scammers anyway. They'll have they'll park their car, in another parking lot across the street from them, and they'll stand on the corner panhandling for money and shit. That's their job, rather than going out and getting an actual job. Like McDonald's is hiring, Walgreens is hiring, Walmart's hiring. All these places are out there that are hiring. And they want to stand on the corner and collect quarters, and then they get into their fucking Mercedes-Benz or the Lamborghini or whatever the fuck they drove up in, and they take off because they don't want to go out there and work. So you're thinking standing on a corner or sitting on a corner, holding a sign, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, sunny, hot, cold, whatever, you'll sit there until somebody drops you some money, and then you'll even walk up to cars, holding the sign, hoping that somebody will roll their window down and give you, their hard-earned change. Let me tell you something, Jack. That hard-earned change, that goes a long way. Do you not know the problem with this country right now with inflation? Things are going up in price. Every single penny counts. Everybody is holding on to those fucking pennies. They're putting them in their jars. They're putting them in their piggy banks. They're putting them here. They're putting them there. If you want money, if you could stand out there in the blistering cold, the fucking heated sun, if you could stand out there in the rain, if you can walk and hold a sign and move and communicate, you can walk your happy ass somewhere and get a job. Now, I'm not talking about, veterans who can't find jobs. I feel for veterans. They fought for our country. They're an exception in this conversation. Anybody who has fought in the military, who has fought for this country and have been treated like pieces of shit by our U.S. government, I feel for them. They're an exemption in my argument right now. They're the people that most likely deserve something like that because they can't afford, a job back here. They can't afford to live back here. You know why? Because these are people who have fought for our country. They have fought in these foreign countries. They've seen a lot of shit. They have seen death and destruction and desolation. People with PTSD, shell shock, whatever you want to call it nowadays, These are people who have suffered physically and mentally. These are the people that need the most help. These are the people that need our support. And they get treated like shit. Those are the ones that I would be happy to give $1 or $2 to. I would be happy to, to help them people out. They've done a great service. Those people have done a great service. Veterans have protected our land for decades. For decades, they protected our freedom. They protected our land. They went up to bat to fight for us. 9/11, which was the grandest terrorist attack that this country's ever had, the grandest devastation. Hundreds of lives lost that day. But then you got somebody like Joe Biden that sits there and says, January 6th, nothing compares to January 6th. Come on, man, nothing compares to January 6th. That was the grandest tragedy in the country. More people lost their lives January 6th than 9/11. Somebody needs to fucking tie that sumbitch up, throw him in the goddamn Atlantic River. The Atlantic River. The Atlantic Ocean. You know what? Somebody needs to tie Biden up and toss him in that fucking river up there in Ohio where that train wreck was. I'll talk about that later on in the show, the Ohio train wreck. I'm surprised I didn't pull it up in my feed here. I'll talk about that here in a little while. Oh, best believe that. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. Black privilege, white privilege. I go out there and I bust my ass every single day. Okay, I have an Xbox Series console. I have a nice computer. My family, they get nice things. I like to treat my fiance to some nice jewelry or whatever she likes, that kind of thing. Does that make me white privilege? Does something like that make me white privilege? I work a job. I work nights. I go in, I work 8 hours. Sometimes I'll work a little bit overtime. My paycheck makes do. My fiance works also. We pay bills around here. With whatever we have saved up or a little left over, sometimes, we save up a little bit and treat each other, treat our kids, treat everybody else in the house. We do good. We make good. Just because I have nice things and I work, I go out there and I work a job, and that doesn't make me white privilege. That makes me a hard-working American man. That makes me a provider for my family. I am no better or no different than any black man or black woman in this country. I can look across the street, and we have black neighbors. One guy, I helped him out. He was applying for a police force. Really nice guy. He deserves that job. He's a really nice guy. He's trained to be a police officer. He's going through the schooling for it and everything. And a really nice guy. He'd be a really nice police officer. I don't look down on him or anything. I don't look down on anybody. This guy, he's going to have a really damn good job. He's going to be a protector of his family and so many others. So how are you going to sit there and tell somebody like me that I'm white privileged when there's black people out there that support their families, that go out there and do work just as hard or twice as hard? Ignorant fucking people out there, they shift the blame on themselves and be like, well, you shouldn't have this. You're privileged. Like, what's Jamal over there got? What's Tyrone going? What does he got going for him? I'll be like, okay, first of all, you're racist for that statement, and second, they're doing just as much work as I am, or even more. I don't have white privilege. They work. They support their family. Where's your argument then? That's when they shut up. That's when they shut down and shut up. Because they figure, white privilege, white privilege. Shut your fucking mouth with your white privilege. Back to the article. This is about Sally Field, like I said. Sally Fields, she's very sorry about one thing, and that appears to be the fact that she's white, Kelly explained. She then played the clip from Field telling the audience, I was a little white girl with a pug nose, born in Pasadena, California. And when I look around the room tonight, I know my fight, as hard as it is, was... Let me play the clip. Let me play this clip here.
Sally Field was honored at the SAG Awards last night with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Good for her. People generally like Sally Field, Steel Magnolias, Gidget, if you're older, and a bunch of other, Norma Ray, right, back in the day with the unions and whatever. She's cute, she's perky, and she's kind of sweet and fun, and she's a great actress. Well, she's very sorry about one thing, and that appears to be the fact that she's white. Listen to this.
I was a little white girl with a pug nose, born in Pasadena, California. And when I look around this room tonight, I know my fight, as hard as it was lightweight compared to some of yours. I thank you and I applaud you.
Okay. Why is she's, I guess, sorry that she was raised a little white girl and that she wasn't of a different race with a bigger struggle. Because, newsflash, white girls in America don't have any troubles that are worth remembering when you're in front of a group that has a lot of people of color. It's such baloney, Dr. Drew. I mean, it's such pathetic, obvious virtue signaling.
Right. It's not that it's baloney, it's that it's virtue signaling. And it's interesting to me that the struggle of women is being completely undermined by so many of these other sort of topics of du jour. And I feel it in sort of what you were saying today is that you have a lot of outrage as a white woman. And my wife used to always say that no one's lower on the totem pole than a white female. She said that for years and years. And I think this is being proven to be correct.
It's ridiculous. I mean, Sally Field could get up there and say, you know what? I came up in the industry where the casting couch was alive and well. That's why we produced people like Harvey Weinstein, and too many women from Marilyn Monroe forward have had to be subjected to that nonsense in order to get on the big screen. So I'm grateful for the opportunities that I created for myself, and I nailed them. I did really well, and I feel good about it. She could say something like that. That would be true to her person. No, she's basically got to be like, I'm with the little white girl from Pasadena, and I basically suffered nothing like you people did here in this room. How does she know? It's so diminishing too to like people of color who are in the room. Like, does she know that she just assumes they're all oppressed? Like, and what are the people of color? Are they Indian? Are they black? Are they Asian? What are they? Why should she assume that they've all had it so bad, Adam? It's like, I think about my son's little schoolmates, back at his old school and his current school. These kids are from the best and brightest families in the nation, all different colors, all different backgrounds, ethnicities, and the most privileged you can find, most of them, right? So, like, I'm sure they wouldn't take kindly to her looking at them being like, I haven't had it as hard as you, poor little thing.
I put the link for that article in the Discord section of our chat. If you guys want to check out the rest of the video, it's video's 8 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole video, but they're making some good points here. They're definitely making some good points here. You know, Kelly asked why the actress apologized for being raised a little white girl and that she wasn't of a different race, you know, with the biggest struggle. Because newsflash, white girls in America don't have any troubles that are worth remembering when you're in front of a group of a lot of people that are, you know, group of a lot of people of color. Bullshit. Bullshit. Everybody goes through struggles. Everybody. Everybody goes through struggles. I go through struggles. Do I own, you know, fabulous little things that I probably can't afford, you know, a year or two ago? Yeah. Like I said, recently, my fiance, she bought the Oculus Quest 2, and, you know, me and the kids have been having fun with it. She has yet to try it out herself. You know, that's because, you know, it's tax season, you know, we're paying off bills, we're getting some stuff. You know, she treated the family to something nice. But that doesn't mean that we don't struggle. We do struggle. We have jobs that aren't, we're not getting paid $40, $50, $60 an hour. We don't have jobs like that. Hopefully we will in the future. You know, we keep pushing ourselves to it. You know, but we do struggle. We work hard and we play hard. We even, you know, do for our kids the best that we can. You know, she put her daughter in a karate class. She pays around $200 a month for it because it's something that, you know, her daughter definitely needs, and it's helping her out. You know, it's, you know, little things like that. You know, my daughter, she wants to be an artist. She wants to be interacting with drama club and stuff. You know, we pay, you know, if we got to pay for that, and so be it. You know, that kind of thing. You know, to do for our family, you know, to get, usually when you look at families today, and, you know, everybody will sit there and say the same thing. I want to be able to do for my kids that I never got growing up. You know, I want to be able to do for my kids. Sometimes, if you're able to do it, do it. If you can't, do the best you can with life. Raise your children. Spend time with your children. Do things with your children, you know? That kind of thing. But in today's society, everybody struggles. Everybody has come a long way from where they were at. I've had so many struggles in my life. I've dealt with mental abuse. I've dealt with mental abuse for years, and I've come out of it. I'm still working my way out of it. One good way I try to remedy it is, hey, I live stream, I play video games, that kind of thing. But I also, you know, I have my fiance to thank. You know, she's there to listen to me. She's there to help me at times. I got my kids. You know, I got family. You know, we still got our struggles. Do I struggle any less or any more than a black family or Hispanic family or whatever? Probably so, probably not. You know, but this woman is apologizing because she was just a small little girl. You know, I didn't have, you know, I had it real easy in Hollywood growing up. Yeah, that's Hollywood. That's your key word right there, Hollywood. Full of leftists, full of woke people, full of fucking idiots who have the big wallet, you know, filled with millions of dollars. You know, like someone that Sally Field, she's been working since the 1960s, 1970s, you know, and she's like a fucking gazillionaire. You know, she's up there. You know, all these rich people, they have something to say because they have money. They're not afraid to hurt their image. Oh, fuck no. Look at Will Smith. That motherfucker, he's been crying on fucking TV. You know, he ended up slapping Chris Rock on stage for no reason. He slapped Chris Rock on stage at an award show because of a joke toward his wife at the time, who was fucking around on him. Shit, I'd be laughing about that. I wouldn't be going to my wife's defense if that bitch was, fucking around on me and shit. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to defend your honor, sweetie. You fucked like 5 big dicks in the last month, and none of them was mine, but I'll go up the bat for you. Yeah, no problem. Just like Megyn Kelly even said here, too many women from Marilyn Monroe forward have been subjected to that nonsense in order to get on the big screen. Kind of like, okay, look at somebody like Harvey Weinstein, those directors, producers, whatever. Harvey Weinstein was the biggest one for, was it sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, stuff like that, in his, his years of producing movies and such. How many actresses have come out and said, yeah, this motherfucker, he tried to slip his dick in me a couple times, but now I'm coming out and I'm saying, hey, this motherfucker has a small dick and he tried to slip it in my asshole. Let's fuck him up. But that was the thing back in the day, whether it was the 30s era, the 40s era, the 1960s, 70s, 90s, whatever. That was a thing, where if a very, very beautiful woman wanted to be in a movie and she wanted a role so much, what do you think went on behind the scenes sometimes? You got the director pull his pants down and say, all right, bitch, on your knees, let's see how good you really are, that kind of thing. That's why the statement right here is pretty strong with what she said. Too many women from Marilyn Monroe forward have had to be subjected to that nonsense in order to get on the big screen. So I'm grateful for the opportunities that I created for myself, and I nailed them. I did really well, and I feel good about it. So that statement right there is good enough. And she went on saying, Sally Field could have said something like that, true to her personality. No, basically, she's basically got to be like, I'm a little white girl from Pasadena, and I basically suffered nothing like you people did in here in this room. How does she know? It's so diminishing to people of color who are in the room. She just assumes that they are all oppressed. Why would she assume that they had it so, that they all had it so bad, And with that whole statement that Sally Field made, that whole statement was racist itself. That statement was racist itself. Like, you're sitting up there proving, oh, I'm a big fucking racist. I had it so fucking good, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad for a lot of you guys out there. You've worked so hard. You shouldn't have worked so... Yeah, well, let me tell you something, Miss Field. Hard work makes a man. Hard work makes a woman. You gotta go through struggles in your life, no matter what your color, religion, creed, whatever. No matter what you are or who you are. Those struggles make you who you are. Life is not easy. Life is not given to you on a silver plate, You gotta work for what you're trying to strive. Because in the end, all that hard work pays off. It really does. So you can't sit there and say that you had it so easy and then turn around and look at black people or people of color or a different religion or a different, nationality. You can't look at them and say, I'm sorry I did not have it as hard as you all, but I am still grateful. Maybe Sally Field can help by stopping the continuation of dividing us so much, the host said. Can you just shut up? Just fucking say thank you. Honestly. That's a good statement. Just say thank you. Don't go into the whole blabbering on of, I'm white, I am so sorry, you all had such a hard upbringing, you have, relatives and, distant relatives in your family, who have suffered greatly, they were slaves, they were sold to these Europeans and brought over here. Don't go into that whole thing. Now, yes, the Civil War time with all that, it's history that needs to be learned in school. That's the type of history that needs to be learned and brought up. Instead of looking at the news and looking at people like Sally Field and saying, Well, no wonder there's so much racism. This white woman on here is proving that, oh, I'm white, I'm sorry, da da da. We're learning a whole new history of racism from the wrong sources. We're learning it all wrong, or at least our kids are learning it all wrong. Our kids today will not open up a book to read about the Civil War. They will not read about Harriet Tubman or the early slave periods. They will not open up a book and learn about that. Today, they make up their own shit. Now, some of it is true. They'd be like, oh, George Washington, he owned slaves. Even though he was the first president of the United States, he owned slaves. He was a piece of shit. Abe Lincoln, he was a piece of shit too. He may have owned slaves as well. Well, guess what? Abe Lincoln was one of the people that ended slavery. The North won the war. They ended slavery. Slavery became an obsolete thing. But then after that, there was all this tension between white people and black people, for about almost 100 years, until everybody started getting along with each other. You got leaders like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X coming out and fighting for peace, for their people, for their communities. Today, Martin Luther King, if he were alive, if he was given one last breath to hop out of that ground and look around and listen to everything that everybody's saying and doing to each other, he'd be like, motherfucker, I fought for this. I'm going back in the fucking ground. Fuck this shit. Martin Luther, MLK is rolling in his grave right now. He's literally sitting there up there with God right now saying, I fought for this. I breathed for this. I led my people for this. Just so these idiots down here can fucking fight against each other, in a whole new fucking way. Only this time they're taking it online. If they go to schools, they're shooting up in schools. There's stabbings and shootings going around in their local cities and shit. You can get shot just for looking at somebody wrong. If I stand in line and I fart the wrong way, some motherfucker behind me will get offended and either slap the fuck out of me or shoot me, That's the sad thing about today's society. You got too many fucking open pussies out here. You got too many pussies. You got too many little bitches out there that just want to fight or just want to make an argument of something. They just want to be part of a crowd that shouldn't be. But then I look at somebody like Sally Field and I'm like, you know what? When it comes to me, I'll never apologize for being white. I have no reason to apologize for being white. I have no reason to apologize for who I am. My black neighbor, he has no reason to apologize for being who he is or what he is. Nobody should ever have to apologize for their race. Nobody should ever have to apologize for their lifestyle. Why does this woman, this leftist woke piece of shit Sally Field, why should she sit there and say, I'm sorry for being white? I'm sorry I didn't struggle as hard as you or your ancestors. When you hear about this woman saying this shit, this is what racism is today. This is what racism is today. Because I tell you what, there's about 90 to 95% of the black people out there, the black community out there, that will look at this shit and be like, bitch, you on some strong shit. I don't hate my white brothers and sisters. I have no hate for them. They have no hate for me. Hell, look at it when it comes to the presidential shit. How many black people supported Donald Trump? And how many of these fucking left woke motherfuckers sat there and said, Donald Trump, he's a racist. He's a racist piece of shit. He don't care about the black community. He's done a lot for the black community. And you got a lot of people out there that are saying that all over the internet. Joe Biden, however, that motherfucker has said and done some fucking racist shit. Why the hell is he still in office? No one knows. No one will ever know. Closing the case on Sally Field, big piece of shit. I'll still watch Smokey and the Bandit. It's my favorite movie. I'll watch it for Jackie Gleason and Jerry Reed and Burt Reynolds, but fuck Sally Field. Fuck her. She can go to hell. Let's talk about this Ohio train wreck. Oh, God. I don't want to fucking read CNN. CNN. Let's go to Newsweek. I'll trust Newsweek. I will not go to fucking CNN. I don't watch CNN. I don't read anything on CNN. CNN is a communist news network. Fake news. They know how to fake their shit. So let's see. Full list of toxic chemicals released from the Ohio train derailment. So here's what happened. All right, separating fact from fiction. Okay, let's do this. The derailment of the Norfolk Southern train that spilled toxic chemicals and led to a controlled burn of substances in East Palestine, Ohio, has become one of the highest profile and most politicized incidents of its kind in the United States in recent years. Now, what was something that happened within the last 30, 40 years that was sort of related in a sense? The Chernobyl incident, right? Chernobyl, over there in the in Europe somewhere. I forgot. I think it's Ukraine. Yeah, it's over in Ukraine, I believe. The Chernobyl incident. A lot of toxic chemicals explosion over there. Nobody is safe to go into that zone for years to come. It's been polluted since, what, the 90s? Something like that? Let me see. Okay, let me look that up. When did Chernobyl... Christ, I can't even spell. When did Chernobyl happen? Okay, I was way off. Okay, Chernobyl is a nuclear power plant in Ukraine that was the site of the disastrous nuclear accident, April 26, 1986. So next month will be, let's see, 40, well, past 45 years, so about 47 years, 48 years. It's been almost 50 years since the Chernobyl incident in the Ukraine. Frightened residents in the town of 4,700 have complained about various ailments in the weeks since the wreck, which took place on February 3rd. Damn, just a month ago. Just a month ago, the train derailed in Ohio. Just a month. And are worried about long-term health consequences. State and federal officials have said repeatedly that they have yet to detect dangerous levels of chemicals in the air and municipal water. Bullshit! How many videos have I seen people collecting dirty water out of that river? How many videos have I saw the cloud, the fucking clouds in the air? It's not a fucking storm cloud, it's a toxic cloud. That's like when, okay, we had an explosion right up the road from me about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a little chemical plant that had an explosion or something. Chemicals and stuff went up into the air. There's still particles up in the air to this day, asbestos and stuff, you know. That stuff's still lingering up in the air. You can breathe that shit in. That shit stays around for days, weeks, maybe years, you know. So they're going to sit there and say, oh, we've yet to detect dangerous levels of chemicals in the air. Yeah. Well, guess what? They just now went there to assess the situation. Late last week, early this week, these motherfuckers finally went down there to assess the situation. Why did they finally decide now? And how did they decide now? Trump went down there. Trump was man enough and American enough to travel to East Palestine in support of what happened. To support these people in a tragic incident that the government created. We know the government created it. We know the government did it. Hell, it was even said in the report as to what happened. Apparently, the wheels of the axles on the trains were heated up real hot, which caused the derailment. That doesn't just happen. That doesn't just happen randomly. If it did, how many train derailments would have been happening over the last few decades with any train? This was sabotage. Somebody sabotaged these trains. And it was going into a particular area too. What is in East Palestine, or that whole area? What's in that whole area that the government really wants to take over, that they really want to control? Who knows? We'll look into that a little bit later. Some experts say that fully understanding the consequences of the accident requires a more comprehensive investigation and more time to pass. But as the residents wait, their efforts to process what happened has been complicated by political crossfire and misinformation. Conservatives have been particularly critical of the derailment and the federal response, using the crisis to sow public distrust in government agencies. Some commentators have claimed a cover-up despite widespread news media coverage, and many Republican politicians have accused the Biden administration for neglecting the community in the incident's aftermath. They have! The administration has been neglectful. Because let me tell you something, when Trump made his visit to Palestine, where the fuck was that piece of shit Biden? Where the fuck was that piece of goat shit? He was over in the Ukraine. He was supporting the Ukraine. He was donating more of your tax money to the motherfuckers in Ukraine. The motherfuckers over there, they have a fucking military system. I understand we get our wheat and some resources from there. Okay, boo-hoo. We can grow our own crops here. Why don't we grow our own grain here? Why don't we grow our own bread here? Anything they have in that country, why can't we do it here? Oh, they don't want that. They don't want that. That would make too much fucking sense. Probably cost them more money on their pocket, but look at what's costing us fucking money nowadays. What's the top two things that's costing us money and resources? Fucking Teslas and Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia are going at each other's throats right now. What does that got to do with us? What does that have to do with us? I tell you what that has to do with us. Resources. We get our resources from over in the Ukraine. Just like we get our resources from Japan. We get our resources from Korea. We get resources from China. All over the fucking world we got resources come in. When is it going to be fucking time, like Trump said, that America is America and we got to start making shit in America? Will it cost money? Yeah, at least our money will be going into something useful. At least our money is not going to support some fucking foreign country. Oh, they need our help. They need our help. The Russians are killing them. Yeah, well, we need to fucking worry about what happens or what's going to happen when the Russians come over here with the Chinese. It's already happened worldwide 3 years ago. I will be talking about that here today, too. Oh, you best believe it. Stay tuned for that one. But what's going to happen when they decide to hit us and Biden's still in office? Now you got a lot of Democrats that they're scrambling right now. Oh, what do we do? We just shot down some bill that Biden said he was going to threaten to veto, and now all of a sudden he's not going to veto it. What are we going to do? Our president, he's fucking brain dead. Yeah, he don't know what the hell a fart smells like. He don't know how to fucking wipe his ass. What do we do? This is what you fucking voted for. This is what you fucking wanted. The motherfuckers that hated Trump so goddamn much because he made mean tweets on Twitter. He was bullying people on Twitter. He was bullying Hillary Clinton. Who fucking cares? Who the hell fucking cares? I'm sure if Biden had a fucking Twitter account, he'd do the same fucking shit. Yes, I understand Trump wasn't as easygoing when he ran and he beat Hillary. I understand that. You know, he was more about going for the jugular than he was for, you know, talking about what he's going to do for the country. Now, he did do some good for the country. There were some things that he did do that were kind of questionable, but he did a lot better job than Obama did. He did a hell of a lot better job than what Biden did. What's going on, Anarchy? What's going on, man? He did a hell of a lot better job than them. And then Trump goes out there to East Palestine and he visits the site and he shows support for these people. Where the fuck was Biden at? Here you go, Ukrainians. Here's $14 billion. Squander it away. We'll send you some of our military equipment. Oh, and maybe I'll bring back the draft. Maybe we'll draft some of these young people. We'll train them to be, train them to holster guns and stuff. Yeah. You bring the draft back in. You know what you're going to be drafting? A lot of these young men who are going to be dressing up as fucking women and say, I'm not the firstborn son. I'm a woman. I'm a girl. You can't draft me. Yeah, well, you were born a male. It shows it on your birth certificate. It shows it here. It shows it there. You're going over there. You could be drafting hundreds of fucking transgender fucks to fight in our war. You know what's going to happen to them? They're going to be sitting there in a goddamn boat one day. It's going to be like D-Day in fucking World War II. They're going to be sitting there about, I just got my nails done last night. You like them? Yeah. Hey, you like this? You like the skirt? I think I should slit it a little bit. All right, you fuckers. We're getting ready to hit land. No, not yet. I'm too scared. Tough shit. We got a war to fight. No, I just did my nails. Fuck your nails. I just tucked my penis into my my crotch. Fuck your penis. Holster, get your guns out. We're going to fight. You know what's going to happen? All them trans motherfuckers on that boat are going to walk off. They're going to get slaughtered. They're going to be fucking slaughtered. Some motherfuckers up in the tower with a machine gun with one of those goddamn LMGs, and they're going to nail every last one of them motherfuckers in the boat because they're fucking dumb as shit. If you're a transgender, if you're a man who wants to be a fucking woman, you're fucking dumb as shit. Because that's all you know how to do. Don't offend my pronouns. I got pronouns. I'm a he, she. Oh, I may have a penis, but I can tuck it in between my legs and now I'm a woman. Ooh, I can use a women's bathroom. That's not gonna fucking help you in life. You're showing how much of a fucking retard you really are. That's exactly what would happen if Biden brought back the fucking draft, which he can't. It's illegal to do so. They put it in, I think they put it in the Constitution or something. I forgot what it was, but it's illegal to bring the draft back, so he can't fucking do that. However, they can ask, they can put these promotional stands out there and say, hey, you want to join the Army? You want to join the military? You want to be in the Marine? You want to be a Marine? You want to go in the Navy? I'm pretty sure a lot of those transgender motherfuckers would be part of the Navy. They even have their own theme song. In the Navy. They even have their own theme song. Let's go rock our fucking asses in a boat in the Navy. Oh, how many gay men can you fit in a submarine? I got a submarine. Oh shit. But yeah, that's exactly what would happen. So you got Biden over there squandering away our money. Billions of dollars that he's frilling away. We've hit our debt ceiling. We pretty much hit our debt ceiling already. I'm surprised they haven't talked about a government shutdown yet, but give them time. They'll wait till the very last 3 days. Oh, we got 3 days to decide something, or the government's going to shut down and nobody's going to get paid and da-da-da-da. I'm like, you bunch of motherfuckers. You let some fucking idiot with dementia, you let him send our fucking money over to the Ukraine, sign our money to the Ukraine so they can fight a fucking war over there. But yet you got shit going on down here. Now they got fucking drug cartels coming in the country. Now we got a fentanyl problem. I don't even know if I should even talk about that today. There's so much shit going on today in today's show. There's a fentanyl problem, people. Look it up. The drug cartels coming in through Mexico. They Biden shut down that border wall. He shut it down. Now you got a lot of the drugs coming in the country. This is exactly what Trump tried to keep out. But you all found him racist. He hated black people. He hated Mexicans. He was doing things for a purpose. And now y'all want to sit there. I don't know anymore. I want Trump back. Then you got your fucking MAGA haters out there. Yeah, fuck you. Fent is China's problem. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, China's trying to come in with a lot of shit now, too. Fentanyl and all. Chinese. Oh, trust me, I'm going to get into that with the Chinese in a little bit. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, Biden could have shown some support for Palestine. He was over in the Ukraine. Trump was over here doing what he originally would have done if he were reelected president. But since Trump made his way to Palestine, guess what happened days later? Here comes the Biden administration. Oh, we better go check it. Too many crybabies in there. They even had Trump in there saying that, he would help them out. He would do this or do that. Let's go in there and do this, And then now Biden and them are worried about Palestine. They created a fucking incident that it is their fault. One way or another, it will be proven. It is the government's fault that this whole thing happened with the train derailment. So now Biden wants to show up and talk about what they're going to do. And it's like, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to try to do anything, Biden, when you're the cause of it, for one? And two, you just gave this country's big fucking paycheck to the Ukraine. You gave our paycheck to the Ukraine. Our fucking tax dollars. Gas is still fucking... Oh, gas is a fucking roller coaster ride. Let me tell you something about gas in my area. 2 weeks ago, it was sitting at $3.70 something. And then over the course of the last week and a half, it has come down. Gas has come down to about $3.07, $3.09. Guess what? It's going right back up again. Right now it's at $3.17. Our gas has been a roller coaster ride for the last 6 fucking months. Up and down, up and down. Not quite hitting that $4 mark anymore, but it's up and down, up and down. Same thing with food. Food's going up. Cost of living's going up. My health insurance is going up. Everything has gone up because this motherfucker is doing endless spending. Nonsensical spending. It's nonsense. Yes, I made up that word nonsensical. I'm pretty sure it's a word somewhere, but, he's doing a lot of this useless spending. On what? A foreign country where we get our goods from. We get our wheat from. Grow wheat here. We got the farms for it. We got people that are willing to fucking work. Oh no, they're white privilege. Remember that. They work on a farm. They work. They do something. Yeah, they're the white privilege, but we don't want to give them that job. We'll leave it to the Ukrainians. We'll leave it to them over there. We'll just buy it from them. Yeah, I forgot. You motherfuckers are racist as shit. You don't bow down to fucking white privilege. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let me get back to this. So here's what is known and not known about the derailment and impact. This is from the New York Times, and I'm pretty sure they're all fucking idiots like CNN, but that's why I'm trying to keep away from CNN. Their fucking articles are they're fake as fuck. The Norfolk Southern freight train that derailed in East Palestine was still on fire at midday on February 4th, the day after the crash. So the fire lasted over a day. Well, of course it lasted over the day. How can you put out a fire that contains multiple chemicals? That area is full of fucking chemicals. How are you going to get in there and put that out? What type of water or substance can you use to put out a fire like that contains, I don't even know how many fucking chemicals, but I'm going to get into the list of that here in a little bit. So the train was still on fire. It was on fire for a day. Residents talking about the Ohio Department of Natural Resources representative at an information session following the derailment. Okay, this is... Oh, you could tell this one woman in this picture is... Oh, you can tell she's definitely pissed or upset. I can't even save that file. I'll put the article in our Discord, so if anybody here, you can check that out. If it will let me fucking... Is there a plus sign at that? No, it wasn't. Okay. There we go. I'll put that in there. Anybody can check that article out. So let's see. I wasn't correcting you. I was okay. I understand, man. Yeah, I know. It's all right. I agree with you. It's okay. What chemicals were on the train and what are the dangers? About 20 of the roughly 150 train cars en route from Madison, Illinois to Conway, PA. 150 train cars. That's a lot of fucking train cars to go. But then again, you know, they haul a lot of shit. 20 of those were carrying hazardous material, according to a February 10th letter from the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Let me go over that list real quick here. If there is a list I can actually read. I don't want to fucking... Okay. So, alright. So there is... This article here is only listing very few. Well, here's the very few. Vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride, you know, people were talking about that in videos on TikTok and Instagram, and they said it's a pretty dangerous gas. A colorless gas that is used to make polyvinyl chloride, PVC, plastics, and is highly flammable and decomposes to make toxic fumes. According to the National Library of Medicine, it is also carcinogenic and can cause other health issues. So I'm pretty sure anybody along the line of that that derailment is probably going to be growing some fucking third and fourth arms. They're going to be probably growing a second dick, third nipple, whatever. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Mutations are pretty ugly. And it can be caused by, you know, inhaling that stuff. So inhaling or ingesting certain deadly chemicals is going to have some kind of effect on you. It's either going to be cancer, it's going to be quick death. You know, you're going to have breathing problems. Your lungs are going to collapse. There's a numerous amount of things that can happen. You could probably even mutate. Mutation is a thing. You know, your chromosomes, your DNA can mutate. But let's see how far it could take you. You know, let's see if the horror movies got it right. You know, it's like, oh, are you actually going to grow a third arm? Are you going to grow a second head? We don't fucking know. Butyl acrylate. Butyl acrylate. I guess that's how you pronounce it. A clear liquid that is used for making paints, sealants, and adhesives. It is flammable and can cause skin, eye, and respiratory irritation. Oh, so it's basically kind of like spray paint. You know how people will sit there and tell you, don't sniff the spray paint, don't sniff the paint, you know, it'll harm you. It may smell good, it may give you a good high, but in the end, it will definitely fuck with you. It definitely will. Ethyl hexyl, I guess it's ethyl hexyl acrylate. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. It starts with the E. A colorless liquid that is used to make paints and plastics. It can cause skin and respiratory irritation, and under moderate heat can produce hazardous vapor. So it's basically the same thing as butyl acrylate. Okay. Then you got ethylene glycol monobutyl, MONOBUTYL. I can't pronounce some of these words. I'm not a scientist. But this one is a colorless liquid used as a solvent for paints and inks, as well as some dry cleaning solutions. It is classed as acutol toxic. ACUTELY. I'm just spelling it out so you know how it's spelled. Maybe y'all can figure it out. ACUTELY, toxic. Able to cause serious or permanent injury and highly flammable. Vapors can irritate the eyes and nose, and ingestion can cause headaches and vomiting. Those are the 4 chemicals that were part of that list. The EPA also published a list of cargo from Norfolk Southern in the cars involved in the derailment, which showed a similar array of chemicals to those identified by the EPA. It showed petrochemicals had also been lost in the blaze, as well as a hopper of semolina and a boxcar of frozen vegetables. I bet those vegetables are alive somewhere. Remember that movie, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? It's going to happen! I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say something like that. You know, it's like it's going to happen. A boxcar full of vegetables and 20 some cars of chemicals, deadly chemicals. We're going to see some fucking rolling tomatoes in the field now. Tomatoes will be rolling in the field, growing teeth and eyeballs. You're going to see that out there in Ohio. Anything will happen out in Ohio. Trust and believe that. Maybe it'll come to Dunbar, West Virginia, too. I don't fucking know. I mean, it's not too far away from Dunbar, West Virginia. I'm waiting for a box of tomatoes and potatoes to go rolling down there, rolling into town, growing the fucking eyeballs. Stuff. Shit. Stuff. That's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, shit. El Zine wrote that the EPA has sent or is considering spending public funds to investigate and control releases of hazardous substances and potential releases of hazardous substances, and had determined that the rail company may be responsible under the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation and Liability Act for cleanup of the site and costs EPA has incurred in cleaning up the site. So you're going to hold them. Have I seen King Cobra? Oh, Jesus. I'm going to have to check that out. I think I've seen you post something of that. I would have to check that out. Maybe that's one of the fucking killer tomatoes. Cobra is the tomato and Hubbard is the potato, you know? We shall see with that. But they're trying to hold the rail company responsible. Really. The axles were heated up. That's what happened. I forgot where I seen that article at, but they said that the axles were heated up. They were heated up so bad to where they pretty much caused the derailment. That was sabotage. That was pure sabotage. They knew where the train was going. They knew where it was going to stop. They knew what they were doing. That's where it was at. So now they're trying to hold them responsible for cleanup of the site. How many chemicals were spilled out of that train again? How many gallons of deadly chemicals? Stuff that is very hazardous to your health. Stuff that you cannot touch. Stuff that could probably eat through your suits and shit. Stuff you cannot breathe. Maybe the EPA should go out there and clean it up. Maybe they should suit up all Biden and the whole Biden administration. Have them go out there and clean that shit up. They're the ones who caused it. They're the ones responsible for it. Maybe they should go out there and clean them up and stuff. You know? The company is also facing a lawsuit filed by 2 Pennsylvania residents on Thursday, calling for the rail operator to pay for medical screenings for everyone or anyone within a 30-mile radius of the crash alongside damages. Oh my God. This poor rail operator, he probably makes $30 an hour. They want to sue this guy and have him be responsible for medical screenings for anybody within the 30-mile radius of the crash. The rail operator has declined to comment on the lawsuit. EPA is already assisting health screenings. I don't blame the rail operator. I wouldn't blame him. They want to shirk and blame the situation. That is what's going on with this train development. With that, they want to shirk and blame. The government sabotages it somehow. They find a way to sabotage. They always find a way to do something. That's how the government works. There's always a cover-up. Look at Epstein. Epstein had a list of people who were involved in a scandal ring of child molestation and pedophilia and all that fucking shit. I'm pretty sure the Bidens were part of that as well. The Clintons were a part of it. A lot of big Hollywood actors were a part of it. So, hey, look what happened to Epstein. Clintons killed Epstein. That's what happened with that. What's going on with this train? Well, they knew where it was going. They knew where they could, pretty much fuck it up. And that's what happened. But these motherfuckers right here, they want to hold the guy operating the fucking train responsible for it. And they want him to pay for these medical screenings. How much are these medical screenings? I'm gonna look that up. I want to get a rough estimate. How much are medical screenings? I want to see how much they are. Affordable. Let's see. You can pay. You can pay $0 out for it. Let's see. Preventive. I just want to get a rough estimate of how much a medical screening can cost. How much can medical screenings? I probably won't even get a proper answer out of that. Let's see, best medical online. I'm not even gonna fucking, let's see, cancer screenings. How preventive care lowers care costs. Okay, cancer screenings. Time. Okay, let's say you want to test for cancer. Is there any price? I just want a price. That's all I want. It's like, okay, they're basing it on age and stuff like that. I want a price. They're not going to give a price. Let's see. Some insurance companies will cover cancer screenings. Call your insurance company, ask what test they cover, how much out-of-pocket cost there will be. Okay, so that kind of stuff you would have to contact your healthcare provider for. They're not going to give a rough estimate, but I can imagine healthcare coverage with that. You know, you want this one guy to pay out of pocket for it. You're going to put this motherfucker in debt for life. And then when he dies, that debt's going to carry on to his family, and then his family's family, and then go on down the line. All because these motherfuckers don't want to take responsibility for what they fucking did. They did this for a reason. They did this for a full fucking reason. Officials expressed calm when lifting evacuation orders, with Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, whatever the fuck his name is, describing air quality readings as basically similar to what they would have expected prior to the train wreck. Kirk Collar of the Ohio EPA said the levels of toxic chemicals observed in nearby waterways were immediately toxic to fish, and that spilt material have leaked into the Sulphur Run, Leslie Run, Little Beaver Creek, and the Ohio River were being monitored. The U.S. EPA said on Friday that Norfolk Southern contractors had installed a dam and a water bypass at Sulphur Run to prevent further contamination, and had also stopped the remaining spilled chemicals entering the stream. Shit, I bet you those chemicals ate through that shit. I guarantee it. Okay, so on this other page that I'm reading up, okay, those are the same chemicals I read. But now for vinyl chloride, it has a little bit more descriptive detail to it. So the vinyl chloride, which is what everybody was talking about, which is the biggest thing that people will talk about on a video, a colorless gas used in making plastic products. The compound, which the EPA has said was on 5 of the train cars, was a particular concern to authorities in the days following the derailment. The gas has what toxicologists describe as a mild, sweet odor and can cause dizziness, headaches, and drowsiness when inhaled in the short term, and a rare form of liver cancer after chronic exposure. When burned, vinyl chloride decompresses into gases that include hydrogen chloride and phosgene. Hydrogen chloride has a strong, irritating odor and is corrosive to any tissue that it comes in contact with, according to the Federal Toxic Substances Registry. Phosgene smells like freshly cut hay and can cause coughing and wheezing if inhaled. We've been testing for the most toxic chemicals that we knew on the train, or knew of on the train. Deborah Shore, a regional administrator for the EPA, said in a news conference on Sunday, and we have seen no exceedances Yeah, that's the word. Inside the homes or in the local air. Yeah, well, a lot of people have reported on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and such. They've gotten videos out there stating that there's pollutants in the water, stating that there's stuff in the air that they see and some of them can smell. There's even one video out there where a guy came out and said, and I agree with this guy. I agree 100%, and I'd make it the argument too if I lived out there. These motherfuckers in Washington and these motherfuckers, fucking Fauci, fucking Dr. Hitler, Fauci, who had stepped down last year, thankfully. He needs to be in jail anyway. These motherfuckers wanted us to wear masks for 2 years because of a virus. Because of a simple virus that's just as deadly, or maybe it's a little bit more deadlier than the flu. You want us to wear medical masks for 2 years that don't do shit, that don't protect you from a fucking virus. And of course, you want us to get fucking shots that are killing off everybody, of course, but who wants to fucking hear about that anymore? But you make us wear masks for 2 fucking years. Over what? People still got sick. They don't protect you. But now, you got people that are concerned in these towns are like, oh, shouldn't we have hazmats and masks, face masks? That's what they're used for. Oh, you don't need those. They're not required. You don't need to be wearing those when you go outside. Everything is safe. There's nothing in the air. Bullshit. So you mean to tell me these motherfuckers are telling us that we required masks for 2 years to walk into a fucking store or a hospital or a place of business? To protect us from what? Coughing? People get sick all the fucking time. You want us to wear a medical mask for 2 years. But yet when something like this happens, and it's definitely needed, it's something that's needed when you go outside, but yet you're like, you don't need it. You don't need it. Don't worry about it. There's nothing toxic about your air. Fuck you all. Why were the chemicals burned? Norfolk Southern conducted the controlled release of burn-off and some of the train's chemical cargo, a process that generated a massive sooty plume of smoke on February 6th. To avoid an explosion that might have caused even more widespread damage, officials said. Governor Mike DeWine, a Republican, signed off on a plan describing it as a lesser of two evils. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, a Democrat, and also approved it, though he accused Norfolk Southern of mishandling the process and failing to consider other options. The EPA has ordered Norfolk Southern to clean up any resulting contamination and pay all the costs. Norfolk Southern, one of the largest railroads in the country, said it has given financial aid to the residents and businesses of East Palestine and would work to clean up the area. One issue with toxic chemical releases is that the hazards are posed not just by the individual chemicals involved, said Gerald Poggi, an expert in environmental health and former member of the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board. Chemical compounds can interact with one another in complex ways and persist after burning. There could be hundreds of different breakdown products that still remain, for which we have often very poor toxicological, I hate pronouncing those stupid fucking words, profiles, where oftentimes in this unknown place. There's just so much to read here. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but like I said, I think I posted it in the Discord section. Yes, I did. So if you guys want to read up more on that, you can. However, with this whole toxic spill, with everything that has happened within the past month, with, the train derailment and everything like that, you gotta wonder, remember that little bitch Greta? What was her name? Greta Thunberg, or whatever the fuck her name was? That little fucking wench from the fucking Russia or Ukraine or wherever the fuck she's from, Germany. That little ugly bitch. Greta Thunberg, whatever the fucking name is. When she came out when Trump was in office. How dare you? How dare you? We are suffering from climate change. Our waters are polluted. Our air is polluted. And yet, you do nothing. So now we got electric cars. We got Teslas. We got electric cars out there. We're trying to eliminate the use of fossil fuels. We're trying to eliminate the use of gasoline. We're trying to eliminate a lot of that shit. You know, the stuff that they don't want. The stuff that they do not want. We're trying to eliminate it. We're trying to get rid of gas-powered cars. But yet, I look at something here that I'm trying to find. God damn it, where the hell's it at? I gotta go way down. Here we go. So I found this the other day. People want to buy Teslas, right? You want to be environmental friendly, right? You want to clean up climate change? Oh, the icebergs are melting. Oh, the land's going to sink in. Well, maybe that was God's intention. But you also know what? The gravitational pull, we're probably pulling closer toward the sun. It happens. We can't handle what's going on in outer space. We can't handle what's going on in our fucking universe or our little solar system. We can't help it. Hell, the fucking core of the Earth has stopped spinning. Yeah, these supposed scientists have come out and said last week the Earth's core has stopped spinning clockwise. It is now going to start spinning backwards. Oh, does that mean we're going to go back in time or some shit? Are we going to de-age? Is that what's going to happen? Who the fuck knows anymore? So, I found this. This is from the Lad Bible, Australia. And it's a picture. Tesla has been forced to recall 3.8 million cars since 2018. From software glitches to steering issues. Elon Musk's car empire has experienced loads of problems. Oh, even battery explosions. That's right, these big lithium batteries or whatever type of batteries they got installed in these cars. You got an electric car? No problem. You're not going to have that much technical service done to it. You're not going to have much maintenance done to it. It's just a fucking battery. It's not going to run on an engine. Well, it's going to have probably engine parts and stuff. But you know what? You're digging up fossil fuels and materials somewhere out there to build these batteries. So you're using up a lot more fossil fuels and material to build these batteries with than you are with gasoline. Gasoline uses certain chemicals, oil and stuff. They power up these automobiles that we drive right now, these gas guzzlers. But I tell you, I would rather drive a gas guzzler than drive a Tesla. I don't want to be in a Tesla one day where the battery decides to explode, or the steering wheel decides to fall off, or the fucking computer system decides to go rogue, and I'm inside a goddamn Terminator. It's going to run me off a goddamn bridge and end my life. I don't want any of that fucking shit. So Elon Musk, the big owner, the big CEO of Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. Fuck Twitter. This motherfucker, he's got this nice sad look on his face. You know what? I'm going to post that in Discord. I'm definitely, where the fuck, yeah, I'm going to post that in Discord here. Let's see. Will it let me? If you guys ain't following us on our Discord server? Like I said, the link is down below. You can check it out there. Come on over. Here we go. Post that in. Look at this fucking pathetic look on his face. The pathetic look on Musk's face. He's like, I was told almost 4 million of my cars have failed. I blame the car companies. That's right, I blame the dealerships for this shit. Who you blame? I'll blame the dealerships for this shit. Who does Biden blame for any of his problems? The Republicans, Trump, MAGA crowd, normal people. You always put the blame somewhere else. So we got all these Teslas, right? We got all this shit. And yet, you got people like Greta Thunberg and these environmentalists. How dare you? You're polluting the air with your gasoline fossil fuels. You're ignorant. You're ignorant. This little German, Ukrainian, Russian, whatever the fuck she is, where was she at the day of that train derailment? Where was she at? when Chernobyl 2.0 took place in Ohio? Where was this little cuntwad at when that train derailed and all those toxic chemicals went up into the air? You want to talk about gasoline polluting the air and causing icebergs to fucking melt? What about these toxic chemicals that are spewing into the rivers? That is floating up into the air. That's carrying all these big fucking toxic clouds that are fucking floating around out there, state to state. Where are you at while all this shit is happening? Got your mouth shut, don't you? A lot of you motherfuckers got your mouth shut, don't you? You environmentalists. You want to blame the guy who's running the train. You want to blame the operator. You want to force him to pay out medical expenses for people within a 30-mile radius. But yet you don't want to fucking take responsibility for a lot of shit you do. That's truly fucking pathetic. It really fucking is. So anyway, let me go on to this next article here. I don't know if it goes along with what I was just saying about the toxic spill and the train derailment, but let's take a look at this one. I'm going to post this article also in our Discord. You guys could check that out. Man contracts brain-eating amoeba after sinus rinse with tap water. Man contracts a brain-eating amoeba after doing a sinus rinse. Now, if you're not familiar with what a sinus rinse is, a lot of people do that. You clear out your sinuses and all that stuff. What you do, you run water through one of your nasal passages, and you tilt your head, and the water comes out the other end, and you're rinsing out your nose. So if you got a stuffy nose, if you got anything clogged up in there, a sinus rinse, people do that all the time. There's even some little machines that are out there that force water in through one nostril and clean it out and comes out another end. People do it all the time. It's a normal thing. This article is from theblaze.com. The Blaze is a conservative website. I much rather trust this website than anything like CNN. A Florida man has passed away after... All right, first of all, this article came out yesterday. Came out yesterday, March 2nd. A Florida man passed away after he contracted a rare, deadly brain-eating amoeba, perhaps from a sinus rinse with tap water. On February 23rd, okay, this is down in Florida then. This is nowhere near the Ohio area. The Florida Department of Health announced that a man in Charlotte County had died 3 days earlier after developing an infection from... Holy shit. I'm going to need a translator to fucking play this one. I do not know how to fucking pronounce this. Let me see. Let me look at Google Translate. Because I want you all to hear what this is called. So I honestly don't know. Okay. Paste.
Naegleria fawai.
What?
Naegleria fawai.
Naegleria fowleri.
Naegleria fawai.
Okay, so that's what it's called, Naegleria fowleri. Okay, that's the infection. A microscopic single-celled organism found throughout the world, especially in warm, freshwater bodies like lakes and rivers. You know what? This is why I don't live in Florida. This is why I don't live anywhere down there. Because anything can happen down south. Well, for me, it's too fucking warm. I cannot stand extreme heat. I can't. I'm sorry. But this is why I will not move down south. But let's continue, okay? Though ingesting the N. fowleri is not harmful, the bacteria can be deadly if it enters the brain through the nasal cavity, causing an infection known as primarily amoebic. What the fuck is this word? I'm going to put that in there as well. So this is called primary amoebic. God damn it. Alright, let me paste that. Okay. Primary amoebic.
Meningoencephalitis.
Huh?
Meningoencephalitis.
English, please.
Meningoencephalitis.
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 Okay, and it's a noun. It's the inflation of the membranes of the brain and the adjoining cerebral tissue.
Meningoencephalitis.
All right, or PAM for short, which is fatal in 90% or 97% of cases. Yes, I want to read more. The victim, whose name has not been released, is believed to have conducted a sinus rinse using tap water containing the bacteria. Because tap water can carry such parasites, those who use neti pots, that's usually what's used when doing a sinus rinse, a neti pot, to perform the sinus rinse, are advised to use only sterile and distilled water. Even tap water filtered through Brita can still be contaminated and is not considered safe for neti pot use. Yes, that is true. People who have those Brita filters that they attach to their sink, the faucet, sink faucet, or even if you have one of those pictures, the water picture with that's Brita and it's got a Brita filter, it filters out certain things, but it will not filter out any contamination. That's something you cannot filter out, sadly. So yeah, that is agreeable. So I would say go to a Walmart or a local grocery store and get a fucking 40 count of bottled water and then just use that. Sadly, I would say use that. That, or hopefully have a home, if you own a home, have a well installed. People do well water. That's usually a pretty healthy way of going right there too. Luckily, PAM is extremely rare. The death in Charlotte County marks the first time that a person has contracted this disease through tap water in Florida, and the first instant in the entire country that a person developed PAM during the winter months. The U.S. typically has only about three cases of PAM each year, which usually develop after a person has gone swimming in a local lake or a river. Last year, Iowa, Nebraska, and Arizona each reported one case of PAM. See, this is my first time hearing about something like this. I didn't know this was a thing, but I know people do say you can contract some things from swimming in water, especially like a river or something. That's why people try to avoid, swimming in rivers and lakes and shit like that. But people are dumb. You're going to skinny dip in a river. Do so at your own risk. Symptoms of PAM include headache, fever, nausea, disorientation, vomiting, stiff neck, seizures, loss of balance, and hallucinations. The FDOH statement said, those who contract PAM usually die in less than 3 weeks, as there are no reliable medical treatments. Just 4 of the 154 people who have developed the disease since 1962 have managed to survive, usually through aggressive treatments that include medically induced hypothermia to reduce brain swelling. To avoid coming in contact with the disease, officials recommend avoiding snorting lake or river water while swimming. Who snorts river water? You kind of breathe it in or inhale it in or whatever, but who the fuck snorts it? Jesus. Regularly cleaning pools and monitoring child's use of tap water in the summertime activities like running through sprinklers and playing on slip and slides. Well, hopefully and luckily we don't have that case up here. We just bought a pool not too long ago, and we're gonna set that up. But we go through county water. We don't get our water from the river or anything. We got county water. But hey, I'm white privilege. I bought a pool. I work a job, making somewhere under $30 an hour, But hey, I'm white privilege. It's a state of mind. And now down to the nitty gritty, the last article of the show. And this is gonna be a whopper. YouTube's probably monitoring it, then they're probably gonna be like, "Oh, we're gonna ban this video because you're talking about it." Yeah, well, I'll label it something else. And this has come out within the past week. Ain't no surprise. We've called it 3 years ago. We've been calling it since then. People have called us conspiracy theorists. People have called us nuts. People have called us MAGA-tards, MAGA terrorists for it. But you know what? It has finally come out in the light. I am going to share this article real quick on our Discord server. Once again, guys, if you are not part of our Discord server, the link is down below in the description section of the stream on YouTube and in our follow section over there on Twitch. So you guys can come check us out on our Discord server where these articles are shared at. CCP government intentionally released C19 all over the world, the Chinese virologist says. Virologist. I hope I pronounced that right. Dr. Li Mengyan says that the CCP underestimated the virus's transmissibility. Isn't that a fucking coincidence? Isn't that a coincidence? That right here on this show, not only just on this show, but also our friend over at the Jeff Hagee show, we all called it. We called this shit 3 years ago when this shit was first transmitted and first released. They did this shit intentionally. And lo and behold, America, we had a little bit involvement in that too. We had an involvement in that too. I'm pretty sure other leaders all over the world also had an involvement in that as well. Otherwise, how did this shit spread so quickly? How did it spread so rapidly? It's all a thing about control. It was all about control. What is the one thing that you could do to pretty much achieve world what's the fucking wow, I'm trying to think of something here to say. When you're trying to conquer the world, you know, you see this shit in movies and TV shows, you know, when you got a supervillain that's trying to conquer the world. What's the best way to do it? Release a virus, some kind of chemical agent or viral agent into the air, some airborne thing. Now, I understand and I know that people are worried about climate change because we got polar ice caps that are melting. And it is said and proven that there are still viruses, different diseases out there that are frozen in ice, frozen in time. Stuff that was around that probably did some damage to the cavemen and the dinosaurs. I mean, we know what killed the dinosaurs. Do we know what killed the cavemen? We probably don't know. Probably will never know. But, you know, we got diseases out there that are frozen in time that people are still, you know, they're still discovering and they're doing research on. That's why they're like, oh, we're kind of worried about the climate change. I'm like, well, you haven't been worried about it for the last 100 years, so stop bitching and complaining about it. But this one thing, the C19, was intentionally manufactured and transmitted from China. A Chinese virologist who sounded the alarm in early 2020 about where the C19 came from said Monday that the U.S. has reached a milestone achievement after a classified intelligence report from the Energy Department reportedly found the virus most likely originated in a Chinese lab. What did we say 3 years ago? That it originated in a Chinese lab? We fucking called it, just like we call everything else here on the show. Especially if you watch the Jeff Hagee show. Because we keep each other up to date with certain things as well. A lot of different podcasters, you know, show reporters, stuff like that. Everybody called it. We fucking called it. Along with a lot of things that are, you know, politically based. Shit. Elon fucking Musk. When he bought Twitter, they released a whole bunch of shit. Did you know that? He released a whole bunch of shit. Everything is starting to come to life right now. Everything is starting to come to light. They're pissed. They're pissed that it's all coming to light. This should be good. Dr. Li Mengyan told Tucker Carlson tonight in September 2020, that the Chinese government intentionally manufactured and released the C19 virus, leading to a nationwide shutdown and deaths. The Chinese government. What kind of business do we do with the Chinese government again? Why is it that Trump wanted to pull us from China when he was in office? The China tariffs and stuff like that. Well, why? The Chinese are fucking dangerous people. It's dangerous to do any kind of business with them. If China gets involved with Russia and they go to war, all hell's going to break loose. We're going to have World War III. I mean, it's sort of started right now with Ukraine and Russia, but China's getting involved. See, the Chinese, they're not fucking dumb, though. 3 years ago, these motherfuckers single-handedly shut the entire world down for 2 years. People have spoke it. Fauci has denied it. Biden looked at everyone and said, come on, man. Pelosi tried shutting everybody down. AOC, all them stupid motherfuckers in Washington tried shutting people up. Social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even YouTube, even right here on YouTube, has tried to silence people, anybody who was talking about C-19 virus. Calling it medical misinformation. It's not medical misinformation, it's pure fucking fact. It's out there on the internet, it's out there in our news. We have talked about it several fucking times. And these people continue and continue to try to flag people like us over medical misinformation. Yeah, I don't know where you're getting your information from. You can't post it out there. Okay, so you'll do something like silence somebody like me or silence somebody like my buddy Jeff Hagee. You'll silence us. You'll probably flag the stream. You'll probably flag the channel. For what? Stating fact? Reading something that's online, something that is legit out there in the news, something that people know about now. So you want to flag? You want to silence people for this truth? It's right here. It's right here in plain text. This is a doctor, Dr. Li Meng Yan from China, a Chinese virologist. She came out and said that the Chinese government intentionally, purposely, they manufactured this virus and they released it, leading to nationwide shutdowns and deaths. How many people died during that pandemic? Probably not as much as the World War II. The Nazis when they killed the Jewish people and all the other people. It's not as bad as that. Well, I don't know. I don't even know what the fucking numbers. But a lot of these scientists, these so-called scientists and so-called doctors, they all falsified a lot of the deaths. This person died because of C-19. All right. What was wrong with them prior to that? Oh, they had cancer. They had pneumonia. They had a deadly flu. Okay, so they were already ill. Yeah, but C-19 killed them. Like, no. C-19 was an accelerator to what they were already ill with. If somebody was in their last 2 dying days of having, let's say, prostate cancer or lung cancer, and they had a day left, C-19, if they developed it, shit, forget that day or two. They're instantly dead right there. That's pretty much it. C-19 was an accelerant. There were cases of people who did die from it. They should be the deaths that should be counted as a C-19 death. If you are sick with pneumonia, if you're sick with some kind of cancer or whatever, if you're dying already, that's what you die from. You may have contracted C-19 in those days, in those later days, but that's not what killed you. You were technically already dying. But anyway, the Chinese government, they intentionally manufactured it and they released it. Host Tucker Carlson asked Yan on Monday if she believes the virus was intentionally released nearly 3 years after the pandemic started. Of course, it was not an accident, she responded. Maybe for people who don't have this kind of biosafety lab 3 or 4 experience on C-19, maybe it's easy for them to accept the accidental lab leak. However, I'm a scientist working in a research lab using C19. And I could tell you, based on the print protocol and also the other surveillance system, it would be impossible for the lab leak to accidentally happen in such a lab and cause the Wuhan outbreak and also the pandemic. So she's stating, and she's being truthful with it. She's like, okay, I'll be truthful with you. You know, I'm just a mere little scientist. I'm just a mere little person who does research, who was doing research, but I can tell you, this was no accident. There's no way this could accidentally release. There's no way in hell. This was done intentional. So definitely now we've just reached the first step. It was from China's lab, and we need to pursue the truth of origin, and we need to keep going on. And you know, now with this information out, they're not going to continue it. They're not going to continue it because cat's out of the bag now. We already know. We already know. It will go further down the rabbit hole. And I guarantee you, the United States government or somebody within the government is responsible too. Because there was somebody over there around the time when it happened. One of our politicians or whoever fuck it was, you know, some of our guys, they were over there at the time. They were able to come back here with it, right? Remember that whole you can't fly out of the country thing for about a year or two? You can't do that? Shit, Tom Hanks, he was stuck down in Australia with his wife. They both contracted it. Oh my God! Woody, Forrest Gump! He's got the big C! Oh my God, we should pray for Tom Hanks. We should pray for a big Hollywood star. Who the fuck cares? The guy starred in what? Almost 100 fucking movies. Yes, I like his acting. I like some of his movies and all. But when it comes to the political bar, fuck him. And his wife. They contracted something that hundreds of thousands of people have contracted in the last 3 years and have survived. But those numbers, oh, they're just numbers. We're worried about the ones that actually get it and die. That's all we're worried about. Okay. So, Tom Hanks, he's fine. He's still acting. He did a phenomenal job in the movie Elvis. If you haven't seen Elvis with Austin Butler, shit, go see that. That's a really good movie. But, you know, he made it out alive. He's back in Hollywood doing his Hollywood liberal leftist thing. But remember 3 years ago, people were going ape shit because he contracted it? His wife contracted it? Remember that? Everybody was going ape shit. Oh my God. Forrest Gump is going to die. I look at it like this. If he dies, he dies. So what? You know? People die every fucking day. People have literally died every fucking day for the past 3 months. Every day I fucking pull up my browser and somebody new is dead. Who died today? Who died today? I literally saw whoever it was. They're probably not. It's not probably going to show it. I don't even fucking know. Somebody died today. I'm clicking. Nothing. Do I have to refresh it? I don't fucking know. All I see is 600-pound life stars. Oh, there we go. My 600-pound life stars sadly passed away. I wonder why they passed away. Jesus Christ. But anyway, Carlson suggested the Chinese government unleashed C-19 to destroy Western economies and elevate their own position globally. And you know what? I agree with that statement. Because doesn't China own some of our land over here? Aren't they trying to, or have they already purchased some of our farmland over here? That makes perfect sense. I mean, they've already killed off our economies, or tried to kill off our economies. How many people in the last 3 years went without a job? They got these stimulus checks. For what? $1,500. Boy, that really goes a long way, don't it? But what about our rent? that barely covers first month's rent or a month's rent or whatever, but then we can't eat, we can't do this. Oh, apply for EBT. We'll give you an emergency extra $100 on your EBT. Oh, if are you afraid of being evicted from your apartment or house? We'll put a little thing in place where, you know, the landlord can't evict you because of this. Can't pay your scholarships, and your scholarship bills if you're going to college. Don't worry, we'll postpone some of that for you so you can catch up in the later months. Can't do this, can't do that. Well, we'll do this. Something that's gonna fuck you hard in the ass down the road when the whole pandemic is done and over with. That's what happened. That's what was gonna happen. All these shutdowns. So China had a clever way of fucking everybody's economies. The economy shut down. You know, the economy was doing. I was lucky to have a job. And within those 3 years, I was damn lucky to have a job. I would rather work than to have the government supply me with a check every 3 or 4 months. I would rather work. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I had a job, and I'm glad I still have a job. Then at one point, they kind of required you to have get the shot, get the jab. I only got one jab. I got the J&J. And I didn't go back for any more. And I was telling people, I was like, I'll get the one just so I can keep my job. I'm not getting anything else. Fuck you all. So now businesses were done with. Businesses were shut down. Businesses ran out of money. You hurt the business. You hurt the entrepreneurs, the little guy. Malls have shut down, even though Amazon is still kind of a blame to that. He should be held responsible for that, for the malls, you know, being closed off and shit. But also, they weren't bringing any money in during the pandemic because everybody was staying home. You gotta stay home. You gotta stay. You can't go out and shop. You gotta stay home. If you go to Walmart, we're only allowing 50 people in the store at a time. You gotta wear the masks. You gotta wear gloves. You gotta wear a hazmat suit. You gotta wear 3 masks over your fucking face. That kind of bullshit. That's what it was. That's all it was. So what's the one way you can hurt a country's economic system, or even the world's economic system? Create a virus. That's what the Chinese did. He suggested that they did it, and that's what they did. The Chinese government unleashed it to destroy Western economies and elevate their own position globally. Yan said, based on the evidence that she had seen and the source she has spoken to, the virus was intentionally brought out of the strict lab and released into the community. So a lot of these different viruses and bacteria and stuff, yes, they do originate in their wet markets over there, or whatever. I think it's the wet markets or black markets, whatever it is over there, you know, where they sell tainted food and shit. It does originate over there because, you know, bats and stuff. Like, remember when we were talking about how, like, bats were the cause of it? They said bats were, you know, contain those kind of viruses, which they do. They still do. Some of those animals over there, people eat that shit and they contract those viruses, you know, unless it's properly cleaned, but they don't give a shit over there. They just fucking cook it up and expect everything to be fucking grilled out and everything. But other than that, you know, that's where a lot of these viruses, you know, take place. That's where they come from, is sick animals. That kind of thing. And the same thing happens in Africa. You know, how many tainted animals over in Africa have they slaughtered and eaten or whatever, you know? But yeah, she said, based on the evidence, hey, they intentionally made this virus. They took it outside the lab. Somebody snuck it outside the lab, and they released it into the wild. They released it into the community. People breathed it. And then they coughed and they touched things, this happened, that happened, and that's how it spreads. It spreads fast. That's how it's done. Watch movies like Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman. You definitely see it. When you bring something like a very deadly virus into a community, shit spreads fast. And then what happens? You got a pandemic on your hands. You know, people start freaking out. People die. People freak out. Things happen. You know, it's serious. It's a serious thing, and that's what happened. This fucking country, you know, the China, this one big fucking country, you know, their government, you know, their labs created this shit intentionally. They had a reason to do it, and they did it. And they released it. However, I don't think the outbreak in Wuhan was intentional. I would say it was because the CCP government and the military scientists underestimated the transmissibility, she added. That's why finally it got out of control and the cost was a local outbreak. However, we should know that the CCP government intentionally let it go all over the world to kill millions of people all over the world later. The CCP is responsible for it. There you have it. They underestimated how many people were contracting it and how big it was going to be, but once it got out of hand, they figured, okay, we let it go throughout the world. It spread fast, and it fucking did. Within like a week, countries all over were contracting it. Yan was a respected doctor who specialized in virology and immunology at the Hong Kong School of Public Health before fleeing in April 2020 after she began looking into the growing number of cases coming out of the mainland China that involved human-to-human transmission. She said that she reported her findings to her supervisor on January 16th, but that's when he allegedly told her to keep silent and be careful. As he warned me before, don't touch the red line, Yan said, referring to the government. We will get in trouble and will be disappeared. Exactly. And that's how things happen over here in the U.S. When you report something, you're silenced for it. But if you keep talking on something, if you keep touching on something, you'll be silenced permanently. Look at Epstein. Look what happened to him. He was in jail. He was in jail for crimes that he committed, child molestation, child pornography, whatever the fuck it was. But he had too many names under his belt. Including the Clintons. What happened to him? He was killed. He was murdered. It wasn't suicide. We all know that. But that kind of information will never be released to the public. Because they look at Epstein as like, oh, he had this whole island. He was a child molester. He was a sex offender. He was this. He was that. He was a piece of shit. Nah, he's dead. We're done. Fuck it. So now, we finally got the information out of a scientist that worked right in the middle of it. That was right in the center of the shit. And she gave all that information out. The CCP, the Chinese government. They intentionally made it. They intentionally released it. They gained world dominance for 2 years. The Chinese gained world dominance. Think about that. This ain't just no Dr. Evil, I'm going to take over the world, whoa, bullshit with Mr. Bigglesworth. This ain't that kind of shit. This is a whole government in another country that's trying to claim world dominance. What's their next step of doing that? Getting in cahoots with Russia. Because what's Russia doing right now? Going to war with Ukraine. Why? For 4 years when Trump was in office, we had no wars break out. Because they all knew that Trump, he was a big leader of the U.S. And we have our foot in a lot of these countries. Trump was going to step in and say, yep, do it. We dare you. And see what happens. There was no war outbreaking anywhere. Biden gets in. Oh, Russia's like, U.S. ain't going to do shit. They got a retarded old motherfucking piece of shit over there in office who can't remember what his goddamn name is or remember what he ate 5 seconds ago. That don't fucking scare us. So they finally went to war with Ukraine. They started attacking Ukraine. Ukraine fire back. But who lives in Ukraine now? Hunter Biden. The Biden laptop. Oh, that stuff's getting out there too. I'll talk about that next time on the next episode. Yeah, the Hunter Biden, the Hunter files, all that shit. You see, like I said, everything is finally coming to light. Everything's finally coming to light. And they're hating it. They're all hating it. I'm loving it. And a lot of us are loving it. So keep watching out, people. Keep it with your brothers and sisters on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Don't follow news outlet like CNN or any of them like that, because a lot of them they're going to falsify a lot of those news articles. They're going to falsify a lot of that shit. That's what's happening. We're being silenced, and still some of us are brave enough to bring the information out to you. And on that note, we just about to hit the 2-hour mark. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today to our podcast, Tuned In Live. We do broadcast every week. We do live game streams. We do video content. And we do our podcast as well. Be sure to follow us on twitch.tv/arrow with a name if you watch us, only if you use that as a source. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. And guys, if you are on Discord, click the link down below in the description section for our Discord channel. It should be in the description section. If not, it should be in our About section on our YouTube channel and in our description section down below on our Twitch channel. So if you're on Discord and you want to follow us, if you want to keep up to date with everything and chat with us and such, click that link. Join us on Discord today. We're also on Instagram, Arrow2022 or Arrow22, whatever it is. But Arrow Entertainment is on Instagram. You can follow us on there as well. So I'd like to thank you guys once again for coming in, checking out the show. This show will be up on our YouTube channel, so if you missed any of it today, feel free to tune in and rewatch. And as always, guys, once again, thanks a lot. I'll catch you later. We're tuning out.
What we do here is go back.